All right, what's going on, guys? Mason Bruner here with REI Sift and DataFlik. This is officially the second interview we're doing since the big merger. This has been quite a big shock to the communities, and it's been a whirlwind of a past couple weeks. And we actually have our first, what I would consider DataFlik primarily users. These two, Shaye and Jamie, have joined REI Sift. I'm not exactly sure how long ago, so we'll get that information from them in a sec, but I was going about my day to day, and we also have a Jamie on our side of things. And I guess y'all were having a conversation, and she said, "You got to get these girls on a call. They just closed like 9 deals or something like that." And I'm like, "Hold up, what's going on here?" So there's some tea that I got to learn. So I'm happy to have these girls on with me, and thank you for being here. Just kind of introduce yourself. Where are you guys from? And how long have you been with REI Sift? How long have you been with DataFlik? What's that journey looked like for you?
So my name's Jamie Schurig. I have been in real estate, I'm going to say about 15 years, going on 15
Okay.
years. I started my journey just doing traditional real estate. And about 4 to 5 years ago is when I started to dabble in the investment side of real estate. Was fortunate enough to be part of the buying agent for one of the bigger REITs. And so we were closing anywhere from 10 to 40 to 50 deals a month.
Holy
Um,
man.
yes, it was the craziest time, but so much money to be had, and it was a lot of fun. But as most people who were in this know, it switched off like a light switch overnight.
Mind you,
Okay.
right when I started.
Yeah, right when she started.
Oh, great. Yeah, we're all
Yeah,
excited. And then, okay.
yeah. So we at that time had 17 employees, and we're running a pretty big ship, which was not my jam. So once that light switch made the flip, we pivoted and made some changes to the business, but I knew I didn't want to get fully back into just traditional, so stuck mostly with investment, and mainly right now wholesaling is what we do at this point. And we've done some flipping, but it's just not my favorite thing to do. It's a little out of my comfort zone. So
Okay.
yeah, we've just been sticking to wholesale. I'm going to say in the last, let's see, we started Wildcat Realty. I'm going to say was it 2.5 years ago? Yeah. 2.5 years ago. And one thing I learned from my past business to this one is that chasing a moving target in this business is not a good idea. And so we were using different practices and just kept switching with something that didn't work. It was like, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. And you can't do that in this industry. I've learned that the hard way. And one of the main things that we implemented was DataFlik.
Okay.
About 2 years ago, maybe just a little less than 2 years ago. And we've done both predictive and we've done stack niche.
Okay.
Love them both. Have nothing but positive things to say about both, honestly.
Okay.
So we've done both. I'm going to say in the last 2 months is when we switched over to the stacked, and it's been just as good as the predictive, just different. The clients are different. And we've, as you mentioned, and we've got, I'm going to say 9 under contract. Since then, we've had some of them close and we're on the way. And so 4 months ago, I have a mentor in the business that has helped guide me, and REI Sift is where he guided me. And I'm so thankful because we signed up, and I'm going to let her talk mainly about
Sure.
REI Sift because she's the one who works in it
Okay.
most of the time. And so once we've signed up since then, that's what's really catapulted things with the great data, and then being able to have a CRM system that just really worked really well. So
Good. Awesome. So was that kind of the verbiage going into things when you were shopping around? Or I know you got recommended SIF, so I don't know how much shopping you did, but was that kind of what was the guiding light of that?
I would say a big part of it. However, being that I've been in this for a while, there's been plenty of others that we have tried. I won't name names, but that we just did not care for. So we
Okay.
had a lot of knowledge from other CRM bases
Sure.
and what it takes to build them out, how much they cost. So yes, to answer your question, I definitely shopped around when I was shopping Sift. There were
Okay.
a few other ones I did look into, had phone conversations with them, and in the end, after having my talk with REI Sift and then the mentor that I like to follow what he does because he's successful, it was clear. And so once
Okay.
we signed up and delved into that, it was just it was clear that we made the right choice for sure.
Good. That's great. I mean, when you before you pulled the trigger with Sift, I mean, what were the issues that you were running into that even if you don't feel like you've solved them necessarily, what were you running into and why did you feel like you needed to make a change or an addition to your company?
So the leads were going into the system and it just wasn't set up very well properly. It didn't follow how really Shaye's brain works because that's the nice thing about Sift is you can adjust it to how best fits you. It was like it went into this old system and it was there in the beginning, but once the follow-up happened, it was hard to find them after that. And it was like they fell into an abyss. And as we all know, the follow-up game in this business is what is the game changer.
Yeah, yeah.
It's what keeps things going. And so the follow-up and what they didn't have set up, it was like there was just no great way to have a rhythm that worked out well. And Sift definitely covers that.
Awesome. Okay, and you guys have been with us for how long now?
I'm gonna say like 4 months.
4 months is what
maybe?
I was. Yeah, 4 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are starting to probably get a pretty good grasp on things. Still some stuff maybe you're not sure about, and that's okay. You don't have to
Yeah.
know it all.
Yes.
So what's going well for you guys, do you feel like with Sift? Like how's the learning curve been? Do you feel like you've been able to run into a roadblock and then you've been able to fix it? Has there been some that have taken a little longer? Like maybe there's some feedback for us?
Yeah, I think like Jamie said, with like what works for your brain, it's not necessarily the past CRMs that we used weren't good, but it's just what works for us with REI Sift. Like basically the best way to explain it is when you log in, the Sift line is great because it has everything right in front of my face. Like I'm not digging for like, wait, who's the follow-ups for today? It's all right there, like in the task and all right in front of you. We've come across a few roadblocks, but I think it's just been about like what works for us. We created for an example, on our Sift line, we created a listing tab because we do listings as well instead of just wholesaling.
Good.
So if we have a listing opportunity, now I can move it into her world and she's able to see it. Same with the transaction side. So we were able to kind of build out, which was just basically trial and error of what we needed that we didn't know REI Sift was able to do.
Sure.
So that's helped. And then also with the data piece, like we talked about this earlier, before this even was a merge, REI Sift made DataFlik easier for us because it wasn't just a bunch of records that we just give to a cold caller. Like now it's in our system. We don't have 10 duplicates because DataFlik, there are some, monthly duplicates.
Yep.
So it made it a lot easier all around, even before you guys merged together. So
I don't know if you guys have watched any of these other interviews, but a lot of times people like to operate out of the filter presets. But I always say there's a select few people that would actually prefer to operate out of Sift line, me being one of them. I need to see things in front of me. If I can't see stuff, I am all over the place. So you and I are on the same page with that.
yeah, definitely.
So what's your approach now with Sift on the follow-up side of things? What are you guys doing to stay retargeting, your list or following up? Like, what are you guys? What kind of data are you working?
Yeah, so like Jamie mentioned, as far as the data goes, we had just recently made a switch to the stack niche, which, like she said, it's no longer like a 90-day predictive thing or 30 to 60, 90-day predictive. It's like these people are ready to sell. So we actually just recently added a VA to work out of REI Sift as well to go through those no contact leads. So they're new leads that haven't been contacted. That way we have two of us that are going through these because there's a lot. It adds up pretty quick when you're targeting pretty stacked data. So she's doing that. So that's been a huge help for the follow-up piece. Also, Tyler had mentioned in one of his videos, like, this is where my brain, it's like the light switch kind of came on. He was like, the whole purpose of REI Sift is the Sift line in general is to, like, if you get a new lead and it's a hot lead, right? Like, we have the notes from the cold callers and it's the ballparks, right? We have all the information, but they don't answer the phone. If in your brain it's a hot lead, move it to hot lead. You don't have to put it in no contact new lead. Like, move it to hot so that you're following up with them every single day. So that was a game changer for me, because the past CRMs, it's just kind of been like this process that you have to follow that they have in place. But there's some customization that REI Sift allows that is great for my brain.
The videos that you're watching of Tyler, are these just some of the training stuff on YouTube, or where are you watching our stuff?
I'll let you answer that because it was something you sent me.
So I pretty much when you guys send emails out, I am always watching them. Also, when I started delving in at the beginning, I wanted to just fully educate myself. Sorry, we had to get rid of dogs that are coming in.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So I love watching videos. So that's definitely my thing. And then I send her what's relevant.
Not your thing?
Yeah,
that's not your...
So
it works out though. It's great. Yeah. She gives me the cliff notes.
Yeah, I have 3 queued up to see that Jamie sent me that are of Tyler.
Okay,
talking about all this stuff. So and then it sometimes does end me up on YouTube. So I've watched all over the ones he sends, the ones you guys have on the website. So all of them really. One thing that I do have on my list to do is, I don't have the name of it. You can pay for that $90. I forget what it is. The boot camp type thing.
Okay, we have the market domination boot camp.
That one.
And then we have
that is a goal of mine to get to work through that, because that's kind of stuff I like. So I feel like to kind of follow through and answer also a question that you had said on the outside of what Shaye's doing and what has helped. Like, we've gotten thus far, and now it's like, okay, we have you guys connected, which is fantastic. Now Kylie has been a huge help. We've got cold callers who do cold call for the DataFlik list. We have 2 of them. And now what I'm wanting, because I feel like we were piecemealing everything together, and my goal now is to get it all in one spot. So that is what I'm working on now, is working with Kylie, and she's working with our cold callers to get them using Sift. And so all the data is going to be, I don't have to keep piecemealing things together where they send me KPIs, and because that is not me living my best life at all. So, so that's kind of where we're at now. I feel like we have still a long way to go in Sift. So it's working awesome right now, but I know that there's so much more to delve into. So I'm excited. And it's nice because Kylie is on it like white on rice. That girl gets back to me quick, is always super helpful. And so it's much appreciated.
Yeah, she's like that on every aspect of her job. She is good. She was just messaging me before this, like, hey, we just released these things. Here's your help center videos. Here's these. Do you have this? I'm like, okay, all right. Like, she's on top of
it. Yeah, I love it. So I'm looking forward to working with her closely to fill in the holes and gaps in our business. And because I do feel like we are not squeezing all of our data as much as we can. And I know that there's ways to do it, but I have to find the people to help, because it's
Let's
just
talk
not
about
the way
that. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So I would start by asking, do you have a process for contacting the people you never got in contact with?
Yes. So that's where we added the VA in. So her sole job is to contact the no contact.
Yep.
Because if there's so many,
that's like your no contact new lead you're talking about, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So this is where it gets even cooler. So think about all the people you've marketed to over time that you've never got in contact with, and you've tried.
I see. You mean even the cold callers?
Yep.
Okay.
So REI Sift with our filters, you can build that list of like, hey, I've called these people, I've texted these people, maybe I've left voicemails, and I still never got in contact. But the cool part about those is the other investors that are maybe getting those prospects in your market, they're probably getting the same results. And the majority of those people, they don't continue. But for us, that's where we call either we do a couple things. One is deep prospecting, where you're going to maybe do some research, maybe something more one of you two would do for a while, and then maybe get like a VA to do some deep research, where like maybe you're checking Facebook's obituaries, stuff like that. Or you could even consider sending direct mail. That's like one of the best ways to send direct mail is to a list of people that I can't get these people on the phone. Like, where is whatever? Where's Bob? I cannot find Bob. So that's one of the big things in the Sift community is the we never got in contact. So I would say put that into your mind, maybe look into doing that. It can be pretty powerful.
Awesome.
And that's how like people say they pull deals out of the data they already had. You know, they transfer data and they're like, well, this is all this stuff I used to have on Podio and I've called through them and nothing. And then all of a sudden they start doing the trainings like what you guys are going to do, or they start talking to Kylie and then bam, there's 3 deals just hiding and waiting because no one can contact them.
Yeah.
So that's a good way of going about that too.
Yeah. That was one of the conversations her and I had last is a goal is to add the direct mail piece in, which I did dabble in it. Like when I first started, I wanted to just trial it. So I did I went through and did investor score a certain amount and no phone numbers. And I did send. Now it only was like 80 some houses, but I just wanted to see how it worked. Did we get nothing back? But I only sent it once. So I know that there's a sequence we need to do. So that is a next goal for us is to add direct marketing.
Yep. That's great. And you could always consider the first to market blueprint. There's a lot of discussion about like re-engaging and rehashing stuff like that. So yeah, those would be really good for you. I'm curious, how many of your deals in the past couple of years ended up being listings? Because we always talk about having the opportunity to close multiple ways, whether, some people are sub 2, some people are novation, wholesale, flip. But, we try to really convince people, hey, maybe consider getting your license. And like, how many times out of your deals in a year do you think you get to pivot to that?
I mean, it hasn't been a ton. My guess is going to be around 4. I mean, we could probably pull it up.
But total?
Yeah, like in a year.
Ooh, I'm going to say more than that.
More than that? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the big thing.
Oh, in a year.
In a year, yeah. Out of wholesale leads that then turn into listings.
Yeah, I'd say 4 to 5 a year. Yes.
That's awesome.
And we've done a couple novations. But yeah, definitely.
And I mean, having your license also outside of listing, I've had multiple conversations where people are like, it's just a trust thing. Like I'm a licensed real estate agent. It builds that relationship with them that you're trusted. They've asked for my real estate license number, like that kind of thing. So that's the other side of it too, is just having the rapport.
So what do you think some of the big takeaways you guys have picked up on are in the past couple of years? Like how have you changed as business people? Like as entrepreneurs, like what are your priorities now versus then? Like you were talking earlier about, this isn't my best life. Like at some point you had to probably realize, hey, I got to figure out what I actually want to be doing in this business. Stuff like that I find really interesting.
So for myself, I've had a lot of life lessons. One of them was I was in a business partnership.
Okay.
And I won't do that again. So Wildcat Realty is just me, but she's my right hand, left hand, and everything. But business wise, it was not smart. For many reasons I won't get into. So that I learned. And since then, why we have Wildcat Realty. And then I would say, like I mentioned before, when you're in business with someone else, it's hard if you don't align on things. And so one of the things was constantly chasing a moving target. And so it's been nice to be able to have her and I bounce these ideas and things off each other. And then we come to an agreement that yes, we need to stick with this, even though we haven't seen a return. Let's say, like for instance, we tried PPC, and we stuck with it for a while, and it was expensive. And the return, I stuck with it a while, and finally was like, no more, because it definitely we were not getting back the money that I was putting in, no question. So, but then that's when that's when I pulled DataFlik in, and it's been great since then. And so sticking with what is working and making sure you're doing the most with what it is you are doing, what you're paying for, what you're working on, doing it to the best of your ability and sticking with it to see what sticks and what doesn't. So I think those couple things, and it's funny that you ask. It's almost like I felt like I burnt everything to the ground and I'm rebuilding. And in doing so, I've had to, for myself, figure out what is it that I want to do, because I've done so many different seats in the business when we had it before she came on board. When I did regular residential real estate, what is it that I wanted? And so in the last, I'm going to say couple months, we've changed brokerages to more of an investor friendly brokerage. And I've made myself have more conversations with people in the business to just tell my story and ask them questions and try to figure out what direction do I want to, or what is a good seat for me? What do I like to do? What do I want to do? What do I not want to do?
Choose your heart.
Yeah, it's choosing your heart.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that one of the investors we met with said, choose your heart. What is your, what is it that you want? So I've had to do a lot of soul searching in the last 6 months of what it is. And I'm still in the process, honestly, of doing that, but feel like we're like slowly back getting in the right direction and have the right people in our corner, the right, people like having systems like REI Sift and DataFlik. And then the fact that everybody's so helpful at both of those is a huge factor for us. And it's a huge help, because before we didn't have that with some of the other.
That was one of the reasons we left the past CRM, was just simply because of like the customer service or the help. It was kind of like, here's this article, which we know how I feel about videos. So I'm like, I'm out. But being able to talk to somebody is a huge help.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then sorry, I'm so curious about the retail side of things. What's the overlap been like in terms of skill set been for you?
It's been nice that I had that in the beginning, because the people that I was surrounded by, nobody knew the paperwork side. And so having that as a background, and it makes it a lot easier. And I have the resources. So yeah, it's just, I knew when I got into real estate, what I loved about it was helping people. I loved making people happy, whether buy or sell side. That was great. And having the skill set and learning about real estate in that way. And I loved it because I was always something new and something different. And then when you're in the investment side, you're still in that helping seat. But I feel like even more we're in the helping seat, because it's most of the time distressed people, not people who just are wanting to move and upsize to a bigger house, or it's really helping people get out of situations that are hard. And we both are kind of that same way. I think sometimes could be a negative, but we both
sleep sometimes.
We lose sleep over things, and we have, because we care a lot.
We're in the trenches with them, it feels like sometimes.
Well, I'd say this. I don't often cross promote different interviews I've done, but I just did an interview with this woman, and she did exactly what you guys are talking about. She took a deal that was the deepest, craziest deal I have ever heard of in my life. And when I tell you guys, I'm releasing it next week. You're gonna want to watch it. It's taking what you're saying, and she lost sleep. She spent money. But she wanted to help in the situation that it was. She really helped. We both teared up during the interview. First off, wild. It was deep. So I think you guys will like that. You guys might have a kindred spirit in her. I'll have to introduce you guys.
We've had a deal where we've filled up gas tanks, dropped off groceries.
It's tough. Sometimes it's
tough. You mind talking about that one a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So it was a few years ago, and it was one of those leads that was very hard to get in touch with for a very long time. And then once we finally did, I can give all the details about it.
What's a very long time?
About a year.
Yeah, and keep whatever details you need safe.
Sure. Yeah.
You
I
know.
just wanted to make sure. Okay. So
Yeah.
she was an older lady who was being catfished by, we knew this guy was not real. And we tried to tell her family tried to tell her. But she believed she had this boyfriend that was in another country. She was sending him money. She was doing all this stuff. I mean, Mason, when we went to her house, she had nothing, no food in the fridge, nothing. And we kept trying to tell her like this, have you met him? Have you met him? Have you seen him in person? And she said yes, even though we know that that is not true. I think she was probably just sick of everyone telling her he wasn't real. And so her husband had just passed away, I don't know, 6 months to a year prior. Actually ended up killing himself, I believe, in the house. So she was just an emotional disaster. And so I probably talked to her. I wish I could pull the smartphone records and see how many phone call conversations, because sometimes it was just to listen to her. She would just call and talk and tell me. So we were definitely in the trenches with her for a very long time. And she eventually ended up selling. But like she said, we took her groceries because I don't know how many times we went there and she had nothing in the fridge. She couldn't make it certain places. So wait, you went to the bank with her?
Yeah. So I went to the bank with her because she kept getting so confused. I was worried. She kept sending him money and she would buy him gift cards. So I forget why we went to the bank, but I sat with her banker to help the banker understand what was going on so that she would not give account information. It was such a mess.
It was really deep. Yeah, it was a mess for sure. But I don't know, people like that.
You know what? Here's a side piece to this is our now investment broker that we work under. I didn't really know her at all at the time. She emailed me and said, I had this under contract. She had been dealing with this lady. And she said, so if for some reason this follows through, they had rented a storage unit and helped her move stuff into the storage unit. And she had lost it so much. She couldn't keep people straight. So we felt awful, but I'm like, well, I mean, we're definitely going to close it. So, I guess that's why we're working for the managing broker, because she's just like us. It's like, but it was just wild. But I mean, she closed it and we wonder to this day, like, where'd she go? How is she? Like, I wish we knew, but.
Dang, that is a pretty wild one. I haven't heard something like that before. It's crazy to see how it seems like in the wholesaling space, in order to be a wholesaler, you have to have that natural kind of like empathetic characteristic about you where you want to advocate for people in a way. It's in such a wild, the money is just flying all over the place, but at its core, it's a very empathetic career choice, and I think it's
definitely,
which is why it works really well for us, because
that's your skills.
We're both empaths, no question.
Yeah, and I always like talking to people that would consider themselves that, because it keeps the humanity side of things in something that can be very profitable for you. And I think if you can keep a level head in that, I think that's really cool.
It can make it very hard on the other end, though. Like, we just closed one in the last month where the person we were assigning it to, just zero empathy, and just, I mean, it was nonstop plugging at us for small, just tic-tac things nonstop. And even until the day of close, just nonstop hitting us. And it like literally tears us up. It's like we
have to deal with the seller,
right? And we don't do business that way. You know, you have the tenant had just lost his second daughter, and we wanted to give them 4 more days to move out. But this buyer was like, absolutely not, or they're going to pay. They're going to pay every single day that they're not and we just don't do business that way. So while I agree, I love that we are, and I think it is important to be that way, there are some in wholesalers and investors, a lot of investors, that just it has nothing. They don't care, and that's hard.
Yeah, without a doubt, you are in business to provide for yourself.
Yeah,
but to be able to still take care of people is essential. I guess if it's okay with you guys, one of the last things I'd like to ask is that 9 deals that you mentioned, was that was that a change of pace? Was that a uptick in deal flow?
Oh yeah.
And for you guys, it was the stack niche. Was it something you were doing? Is it just you were having a hot streak? Why was there an that uptick? And why did Jamie, not this Jamie, but our Jamie, why was she so adamant I get you guys on a call? Like, what was it about these deals?
I'll answer and I'm going to
Okay.
let you
Yeah.
say something too.
Sure.
So I think on my end, on the back end of things, it was a really sad and slow winter. And so in February, it was like I told Jamie, I was like, okay, we need to take a pause in the at that time we were doing predictive AI, and that's
Yeah.
the way more expensive one.
Yep.
Right. And so financially wanted to just take a little break on it. And so I think she was super sad about it. I mean, and it was like she was like, also she's also the one that said Sift. I'm giving him the credit. I think it was Jamie actually. But then when I went to my mentor, he used you guys too. So it was actually Jamie, now that I remember correctly. And so we hopped off the train on DataFlik for like just 2 or 3 months, and we hounded we still used all of the data in the predictive with our cold callers. And then in May, it was like, okay, it's time. Let's re-up this. And that's when we tried stack niche. And so I think that I think it had a lot to do with adding REI Sift and then just squeezing every piece out of the data we could, and then switching over to stacked, which I love both data sets, no question. But I just think those two things and the timing is where things just escalated quickly. And I mean, she does acquisitions and she's so good at what she does, and was able to just close in on these deals coming in.
Yeah, and for me, I've said it once before already on this call, but it's just the follow-up on REI Sift and how it works with my brain. Like the fact that I can take something and drag it to where it needs to go instead of going and changing all these things. And like I have my task in the top right that are there every single day. Like that piece just works for my brain. And so it helped with follow-up. It's that simple as far
And
as.
why are you so good at acquisitions?
I have a pretty large sales background. I was a sales manager for Apple for almost 8 years. And so lots of training, right? Like they pour into their employees. And so, and like Jamie said, like just being empathetic towards these people's situations. I hate having phone calls when a deal is falling through, or when we have to shift or pivot or do something else. Like I feel for these people. So I think that just comes across in our conversations, and we try to get out and meet people. Like we don't do our business just completely over the phone. We try to go out and actually meet the sellers and talk with them in person. So I think that helps a lot too. Like I said before, just building that rapport.
We actually have one listing right now it was listed before by someone else. We got it under contract
as a cash deal.
Okay.
And so I came off the market. It was one that ended up having way more issues than anybody knew. So we couldn't get rid of it. And this poor guy has been around the block with agents, with other cash buyers, and just blew Shaye up, was hot to try.
Which he should have been.
And he should have been, and was going to get on Google and see all these terrible reviews. I mean, and she was able to not only get him off of that hot seat, he is now an active listing for us, and we have him under contract as a listing, and is so thankful to us for helping him. So that's when I say, like, she does so well at all aspects of the acquisition side.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I think I caught him on a bad day that day, but he's a really nice guy. Just bad situation, right?
How'd you talk him to your side?
Yeah, I mean, he already was, right? Like we had already had so many conversations where we were able to just be straight up and honest with each other. And he straight up told us the situation that he's been paying a mortgage on this place for 2 years, and he wasn't even in it for 2 years. So it's a bad situation for his family. He wants to buy a new house with his wife. Like it's just a bad situation. So like I said, when I brought the news that we were going to have to drop out of this deal, it was one of those situations where emotion comes in, right? So he was just not happy. So the nenext time I let him cool down a little bit, called him the next day and was just like, hey, like we still want to help you. Like we still want to do this. We were actually, well, really, Jamie was #1 at Tucker a couple of years, 3 years back, which is the #1 real estate brokerage in Indiana. So I just basically was reassuring him like, hey, like we know what we're doing. Like we can get this on the market and we can get it done. So I think we even took a small little cut with commission percentages, like just trying to make it right, you know, because we just feel bad for the guy.
So. Oh yeah, in the end, we were talking about today because we went to his house to flip something's not right with the plumbing. So we went down to his house.
Do we look like plumbers to you?
Have no idea what we're doing. Literally, we were in a mud hole trying to do this stuff. So it's but he's so grateful. So and we will literally, for the amount of time and effort we put into this, we are definitely in the negative.
It happens.
We just got to get it done, you know? We just want to get it done for him.
We just want to help him and get rid of the house for him. So
I think there's more to learn from that than saying you made $1 bazillion.
For sure. Yes.
Yeah. When you were talking about that, I was starting to think to myself, I was like, well, how did you talk him off the anger side? Well, it's because you knew your shit, like your shit. And that really comes down to the reps and the time. I have to say, you guys are awesome.
Oh, thanks.
So I'm glad to have you on the Sift side of things with us. I think this was a really awesome call, and I appreciate you taking time. I know you guys are busy, so I think we should do a follow-up call in about 6 months.
Sure.
Just see where you're at, what's going on, what are you struggling with, same kind of call, and just catch up. I would just say I'm trying to do some new stuff at the end of the videos here. I guess if you have one piece of advice in terms of real estate or business, what would it be? It doesn't have to be your ultimate best one, but one that's on your mind as of lately.
I mean, my ultimate life, what I go by and I'm still trying to do today, and I think that's why I'm headed the direction I am now with where I want to go with this business, is to work harder or work smarter and not harder. And so that's what we're working on. And by adding pieces to the puzzle of this business, like DataFlik and REISift and VAs to complete the circle so that we can have it running and work smarter and not harder. For me, that's mine.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of hit on this a little bit earlier, but I'll just say it again. Like we talked about other CRMs and other data places that we've purchased from, like what works for someone might not work for you. So if somebody's super successful with a CRM, you get it, you're working through it, and it's not working for your brain, like there's other options out there. There's obviously REI Sift works for us, but just doing what works for you and that matches your culture and what you are looking for. I mean, like I said, there's so many options out there. So just following what works best for you.
Thank you guys so much. This was awesome. And
thank you so much. We appreciate it, Mason.